Say that for later. But anyway, I'll go back to your question about what was your question?
Well, you said there's another studio, which reminded me. I didn't
Oh yeah,
ask if during this process have you been recording and releasing music.
yeah. So I started making like in high school. I was like, oh, you have rap crews and stuff, and so I started making songs about and like the fantasy of like how we would take it would kind of built, and I was always thinking branding or where opportunities to perform, and so I started like building out um, a concert idea for Israel Independence Day, which is like a rally that I think like 10,000 Jews in Montreal go to each year. And I was like, that's I'm gonna make a lot of songs about Israel, particular about Israel, so that I can perform at the Israel like at the rally. And and so I started making those songs. But like I was constantly thinking of different
Did you
projects,
end
different
up
ideas.
performing at the rally?
So it fell through, and like it's I mean it's disappointing, but just the kind of that like writing songs with an intention in mind, with a goal, like who are people that I can collaborate with in order to put it on. I was also I was on the organizing committee in the seventh grade for like what do kids want to see at the rally, and I was like, people want like modern music, and they're like, oh, let's write that down. So then I remember like when I started making hip hop, like eighth, ninth grade, I was like, oh, that could be me who brings that element to the rally. But no, anyway, that didn't work out. But that was when I started like branding my music towards Jewish content. And my father, he has a radio show um, called like it's every week he would do like a brief sermon, and it was called like Wild Torah with a mild Masorah, which means like uh, crazy like ideas about the Torah, but from a tradition that might be more mild. Anyway, he had this show, and so I came up with an idea of each week there's a story in the Torah uh, that like that's read at the synagogue, and they break the Torah up into like 48 parts. And so on my father's show, I came up with this idea to like make one for each one, and my father was like, "Oh wow, yeah, I'll get you on the show, and like you can perform your song." So that was like a really cool moment when I was able to release one of my one of my first songs. I made the beat, and it was very rugged. It was just like simple chords, and I I'd been writing a lot of music, but not to any beats at that time. So that was like a really interesting moment. But so that was like a place where I performed. I was making music with this the high school group, um, and with the high school group, the music that I was making was also primed towards like Jewish subjects, where I would take a different idea of the of like kind of just an esoteric rabbinic text and then illuminate it into modern ideas. But like very simplified, nothing too like advanced or complicated. But like my mind was geared in that direction. And then uh, I don't know if you know epic rap battles of history.
Yes.
So when I started seeing epic rap battles of history, then I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do this with the Bible. And so I started making Bible rap battles. And I did like between Moses and Pharaoh, and I did between all like different characters. Um, and so that was like a series that I started developing where I was like, oh wow, this is this is like this is so niche, but for everyone that I show within the Jewish niche, they're like, this is so cool. So
I mean,
that
I was
was
just going. That was just so cool at like a conceptual level. Like, I think what's brilliant about your mind, just in general, is you see something you like, and the first thing you want to do is emulate it and find a way to make it your own and improve upon
right,
it in
right.
a sense.
Yeah,
You're like epic rap battles of history is cool, but let's be real. Sometimes they would pick some corny ones. Like it's not so much that, like, they were bad battles. It's just like yeah, I don't care about either. I don't even know who these people are, and then it wouldn't be as
Yeah.
like fun to watch. So to solve that problem, Rivir is like, fuck that. I control it all now. I'll make every episode bless.